Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, June 14th. Looking at our impact map for today, potpourri, just near record heat where you see the areas in the pink. Strong gusty winds, 30 to 40 miles per hour in Nevada, pushing into western Utah. We do have existing fires in these areas. There'll be some breezy conditions over the Sierra front today, a little bit less. The winds push a little bit further eastwards tomorrow into Utah, still affecting this Nevada-Utah region. The heat still continues, triple digits in many of the lower to middle elevations, and that heat continues again on Wednesday. You see the dashed line indicating where our fuels, a combination of dead fuels and live fuel moisture, indicates we are critical for large fire potential. Not much precipitation or lightning in the past 24 hours. It's been active last few days. New fire starts in the red, existing fires in the yellow. Larger circles and open circles indicate larger fires and team fires. You can see most of the activity across the eastern portion of the Great Basin getting into southern Idaho. It's been dry over the past 7 days in most areas. Wetter further up into western Idaho, and this is actually percent of normal precipitation, not past 14 days. You can see where we are 0 to 10% of normal in those red areas. These will be our areas of concern. Areas that did receive above normal moisture will have a brief respite during this heat wave. Looking at our fuels, our ERC point map illustrates this. The record level ERCs in the purple, 97th percentile or above, and still 90th to 97th percentile. We see a lot of the dark reds and reds. So in these areas that we're highlighting here is where our larger fire threat is the strongest. And areas that were cooler or had recent moisture further north and west, threat is somewhat less. 100-hour fuels areas in the red were our critical areas. Looking at the satellite imagery, the high pressure ridge dominating the heat shift a bit further east into southern Colorado, south central Colorado. But we're between the high and the low, so it's that tight pressure gradient you see here with these yellow lines. That's bringing the increasing wind. Fuel's not as critical across western areas, but as you get further into eastern Nevada and especially into Utah, the combination of heat and wind will be the big thing. So for today, where to start? We'll start here on the left. There's a high pressure ridge. There's the dry air mass in that tannish shade. But you see the tight pressure gradient. That is where the wind threat is. We see the W's. And if you look carefully across eastern Utah, the wind threat diminishes, but it's that record heat and dryness that could create just basically fuel-dominated fires that we're most concerned about. This is also for some of our adjacent areas of Arizona and Colorado. You can see the very dry single-digit humidity across the southern and eastern portion of the Great Basin. And you can see the winds also. Some of these winds here in the purple gusting to 45 miles per hour. So a little bit weaker across Utah, but still in the low 30s. With those dry humidities, that would really cause a lot of fire spread. High pressure is in a similar place tomorrow. We continue with the heat and the wind. You can see that wind belt here on the left, again pushing into parts of Utah and Nevada. And you can see those humidities again, single digit, very dry, a bit higher up further into Idaho. As we go into Wednesday, the high is still in place. There is some moisture starting to rotate back in. I think the wind threat will start diminishing. The high risk we have here is basically for the continued record heat. That'll be going on for the upteenth day in a row. There's the, again, single-digit humidity across the southern half of the Great Basin. The winds die out quite a bit across the region. No precipitation of any significance to speak of in the next 3 days. As we go into future, on Thursday, the high starts picking up some high-level subtropical moisture. You see a little disturbance here over south-central Utah. This little green area here could be a wave that could cause some high-base thunderstorms to move across the southern and eastern portion of the state, and that's where we have high risk for lightning in those areas, especially after this prolonged hot, dry period. Otherwise, the record heat continues across the entire southern portion of the Great Basin. You see more moisture being pulled into this high-pressure ridge. This is kind of how the monsoonal season starts to get going. It's not here yet, but it's that large four corners high that has to sit for a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, it's picking up little drips and drabs of moisture. We have high risk again for southern and eastern Utah, as well as northeastern Nevada. So we'll have to watch for the possibility of more ignitions towards the end of the week. That threat continues again on Saturday, especially for the eastern portions where there is a bit more moisture. And then on Sunday, Still some lingering lightning threats. You see those areas of green here into that black area. There's also a disturbance coming in that could enhance that lightning across the western portion of the Great Basin. 7-day precipitation totals. So some of these little blips here in the green signify coverage of thunderstorms and lightning, but not much precipitation reaching the ground. 8 to 14 days shows no relief, hotter and drier than normal across just about all of the Great Basin. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.